All right, hey everybody, it's Gordon. Welcome to the shop. Tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm leaning on a chest of drawers, or some would say dresser, that's on its way out of the shop. And this is not Brazilian rosewood. It's not my traditional video, but it is an opportunity to talk a little bit about some of the other things that I am doing, just so you don't think I sit at my bench and fix totes all day long. This is a piece that was commissioned. It's white ash. And then the stain was done by my wife. She has an amazing talent and she's our design expert. So in this case, hand planes were used, so I thought it was appropriate. Let's talk a little bit about hand planes, and I'll talk a little bit about the construction, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about where we're going with the next video. Okay, so let's throw a few tools up here. I wanna talk about what I use. I'm gonna cover this top up so I don't screw it up now. The material I bought is white ash. This is coming from Johnson's Workbench in Charlotte, Michigan. And I do use their mill services, so I get it S2S, and that was it. So random widths, it was rough sawn, kiln dried, amazing quality material. I've been buying there for years. If you get a chance, look up Johnson's Workbench. Hopefully it's close to you. And so then from there, what did we have to do? We started with the top, and of course, I go to my go-tos. So I'm using a 7, right? I started with a 7 joiner because I have a really good setup here. I love this guy. And then probably my all-time favorite of my plane setup is my 8. And I'm not gonna slam this one down like I just did. So my 8 is also an integral part of this project. So for joinery and material prep, for the 4 legs, the corners, and what else? Even the drawer faces, those were joined too. So a lot of plane work went into this one, and I really enjoyed that. Then once the drawer faces were all done, I beveled them, and the bevel was a 604, so this was a bedrock. And I'm using that smaller guy because of the accuracy, and again, this is super sharp. It's a great setup on my bedrock, and I was able to put those bevels on. And then I just use a cabinet scraper to finish those off from there. So those were my primary 3. There's probably a 5 or a 5.5 in there. All the drawer parts, and I'll show you the inside of this cabinet too. We'll take a look at traditional rails and drawer slides. We're done, and there's a little bit of, this is a 79, one of my favorites. So my 79 came into play. And I'll show you where I was using that guy as well, as I fitted each drawer and each slide independently. 79 helped me dial it in. And then my wife laughed at me when she said, "Did you use this one too?" And I did. This is a little Stanley 101. So knocking corners off and doing little bevels. I know some people think that these are just cute collectors and you put them on your, on your bench or on your toolbox, but definitely a part of the project. Super sharp, has a great cut, and that's kind of my lineup for this project. So what are we going to be doing after this? Let's take a closer look at what's inside this box. Okay, so what's going on inside? There's options for hinges, of course, full extension hinges. There's some cheaper options out there, kitchen cabinet style hinges, and I kept this 100% wood. So this is traditional slides for the drawers. And then I did use Baltic birch for the drawer boxes. Because of the size, they are kind of an odd size. This was custom dimension to fit the customer's spec. So the drawer boxes were heavy, and they didn't want any metal. So this is where I went. Now this is where my little Stanley 79 came in, where I was able to fit the taper. And I have a slight taper as you push the drawer all the way in to make sure that it centers itself upright. And when you take these guys out, you will see on the inside that there is one piece of Baltic on the back, but other than that, everything else is going to be white ash. The rails are ash. Even the side panels, although from the outside they're not raised panels, they look like traditional shaker style, they are raised on the inside, which gets me to that 1/4-inch thickness. A lot of work, a lot of hand work. And this took a lot longer than I thought, as just about everything else that goes through my shop. And there you have it. Okay, so let's put a couple of these guys away and we can talk about what's coming up next. Thank you for letting me talk about this furniture, and I'm talking about dresser and chest of drawers, not just furniture on the hand planes. I've been a woodworker my whole life. I just wanted to say, you know, for those of you that know me as tote guy or Brazilian rosewood specialist, that I like to be, but I also have a lot of experience in other areas and have been in the industry for a long, long time. So I too, like you, am passionate about not just the hardware and the tools that we're using, but the projects that we're making. So this was kind of fun. I wanted to have the opportunity, and I guess I'm fortunate to have the opportunity to show you a little bit about what I'm building. And as other projects move through the shop, I'll be sure to put those up for you to see as well. In the meantime, what's up next? We have a couple things, and there's always so much to cover. I don't know where to go, but I did get a box this week, and this one's coming from Maine. So some of the things that we have: standard challenge, standard horn. This one has some nails in the top of it. That'll be fun. This one comes to us with no foot, so he's footless. And ironically, the foot comes with no horn and no body. So they don't go together, but we'll have to talk about what we're gonna do with that. Also, along the lines of materials, there were some sample materials that came in with these totes from the Northeast. And we were hoping that we had Brazilian rosewood, but it turns out it's not. It's a different species. Very close to Brazilian rosewood, but it's not Delbergia. It is an East Indian rosewood. So you'll see more about that in future videos. I'm gonna leave the little one-on-one right up front. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys following along, and I'll talk to you soon.